You're listening to the Wordslinger Podcast, episode 58, Author Marketing with Alinka Rutkowska.
Writing a book. It can be the best way to build or grow your business, or to simply tell the story that you wish to tell. Learn how to write your book in 30 days or less. Pick up 30-day offer today from Amazon, Apple iBooks, or other online retailers.
It's the Wordslinger Podcast, where story matters. Build your brand, write your book, redefine who you are. It's all about the story here. What's yours? Now, here's the guy who invented pants optional, Kevin Tomlinson, the Wordslinger.
Wordslinger.
Hello, everyone. This is Kevin Tomlinson, the Wordslinger. Thanks so much for tuning in yet again. You know, you keep coming back, and I keep coming back. I think we got a nice little system going there. So you'll notice I'm a little throaty today. I got kind of the whole. Actually, I kind of dig when this happens because I get the whole cool, low resonance like throat vibe going. Very sexy. I think it's sexy. You may not think it's sexy. So this week we're actually going to be talking to somebody who, it's always interesting when this happens. She was in Italy during our call. I was in Missouri City, Texas at that time, although I've since moved since recording this interview. See, that's what happens. The magic of pre-recorded interviews. But I enjoyed this interview quite a bit, and I think you will too. And, I'm talking to, and I'm going to butcher this. Actually, I'm going to try very hard not to butcher this. I'm talking to Alinka Rutkowska, and she is the author of a whole lot of children's books, but she also does a lot of work for the author community, and the two, I think, are very similar. So I think it works out for her. You're going to love that interview. It's all about how to market if you are an author. Lots of tips in there. You're going to get a lot out of it. I also want to talk to you. Excuse me, I'm swallowing, but I got some feedback on the Wordslinger podcast recently, and I just wanted to share it because I love getting reviews, and I really hope that if you like the show, that you're going on iTunes and Stitcher and Google Play and anywhere else, anywhere you're finding the show, and you're rating it and ranking it, writing a review, because that helps us to be discovered. Helps me get the show in front of more people, and I try to share something useful for a pretty wide audience. Really, I know I have a lot of authors and entrepreneurs who tune in, so this is for you guys. But if you're listening to the show and enjoying it, I hope you're ranking it and rating it and writing a review. It really helps. So that said, I've got 3 or 4 different little reviews here, and let me pull them up real quick. All right, here we go. So this first one is from Creative Mentor. It says, I love it. The podcast is great, covering topics on writing, podcasting, entrepreneurship, and more. Highly recommended. Thanks, Creative Mentor. I really appreciate that. That's kind of the goal. The next comes from WF1019, which is I'm sure it means something. It's a code for awesome listener, but it's great source of info. Kevin gets really good interviews. He pulls out all of the info he can from them. Keep it up, man. Thanks, WFT or WF1019. It's not even a real name, and I still butchered it. So thanks for tuning in. Excellent podcast. This is from Cheatonium. This is a great podcast for both aspiring and experienced authors. Thanks. That's a big chunk of the audience. Even if you're not an author, but want to listen to great speakers who will motivate you to make your life better and get your butt in gear, this is the podcast for you. Fun host, great guests, and interesting content. Thanks a lot, Cheatonium. I love that. That is actually a great review. Thanks for that. Really great show. This is from Jay Carberry. Loving this podcast. Episode topics are interesting. The content is incredibly helpful, and the episode length is perfect. Keep up the great work, Kevin. Thank you very much, Jay. And that's, I love hearing from you guys. So if you don't mind, and it does help a lot, go pick me up somewhere on iTunes, on Stitcher, wherever you can. Leave me a review. Tell me what you think of the show. You can, write anything you want there. I'm hoping you're loving it. So go and do that, and we'll help other people discover the show. So all that said, I appreciate that a great deal. And of course, if you want to help support the show, there's a lot of ways to do that. The best way, the way that means the most to me, is to buy my books. So if you are interested in some great speculative fiction, I've got books for the entrepreneur crowd. I've got at least one out there right now, The 30-Day Author, which you heard my robo-announcer talk about at the beginning of the show. You can pick that up. If you go to kevintumlinson.com/30-day-author, I've now got that in a nice, neat URL, easy URL, no dashes, no anything. You can go right to the book and buy it on several different channels, whatever you happen to read on. I'm going to have that available in print soon, actually, so keep looking for that. But where I excel, the stuff I love, that's my fiction. So if you're looking for some great speculative fiction, and that's a pretty broad category. I know a lot of my stuff kind of tends to fall into sci-fi, but I'm writing a lot of really contemporary sci-fi stuff that I think is more of it gets described as a sort of Born Identity meets Limitless by readers. So I think if you're into that kind of thing, so there is that kind of tweak of sci-fi in there, but it's not what the story is. It's about the characters. So if you're into really character-driven fiction, if you like suspense stories, espionage stories, and that sort of thing, you'll probably dig what I'm writing. Evergreen is the best and most recent example of that. So go check that out. You can find all my books at kevintumlinson.com/books. That supports me. It helps keep me going. I love it. I love connecting with you guys. Get on the list while you're there. Become a slinger. You'll get updates about new books, new shows. I throw some other stuff at you every now and then. I'm kind of experimenting to see what the readership likes to get and what they don't like to get. I had I sent out some emails recently that I think were not favorably met, so I apologize if you did not like something you got. I'm just kind of tinkering around, trying to learn what works for you. So keep reading, tune in, get on the list. We'll chat. All right, enough about me. Enough about this stuff. Let's get into what you're really here for. We're going to get into this interview with Alinka. Stick around after the interview for the wrap-up. We'll get some other details out of the way. But otherwise, I hope you enjoy this interview with Alinka Rutkowska, author marketing. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. And today I'm sitting, she's sitting very far away from me. She's actually in Italy right now, which is a lot nicer than Houston, Texas. But I'm talking to Alinka I knew it. Alinka Rutkowska.
Yes.
Yes. She's an award-winning author and entrepreneur, and she has a beautiful name that I just unfortunately have a Texas tongue and can't pronounce very well. So, but I am on your mailing list, Alinka. I get a lot of your. You do a lot of work with authors, so that was one of the things that attracted me, and I wanted to talk about that work. I wanted to talk about your writing as well. So why don't you set us up? Like what sort of books do you write right now?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, Kevin.
Oh, absolutely. You're always welcome.
Thank you for being on my list. I love all my subscribers. So I mainly write books for children. I have a whole series going on. And from that, I've had some success with these books. So as a byproduct, I started helping other authors with their books. And it wasn't really as organized as it is right now. Yeah. It usually just starts spontaneously. So I helped a few one author, a second author, a third author. I put a bunch of them together, and then I thought the smart thing to do, and everybody's talking about that, is to have a list. I had a list for my readers, and I thought, why not do that for authors?
Yeah.
So as I was learning, I was also telling my author friends what I've learned, and I keep doing that.
Yeah. And so this all started as kind of you learned a few things through publishing your children's books, but now you're expanding that. So you've got a whole author, not really a training program, but you're just offering a lot of resources to authors.
Yeah. Well, it started as a reader's favorite award-winning Facebook group. So let me start from the beginning. I won an award through Reader's Favorite.
Okay.
And that was last year. And I wanted to go to the awards ceremony in Miami. And I said, I replied to the invitation. I said, yes, I will come. And I knew there would be like 300 authors there. So I thought that would be really nice to know some of the people before going.
Yeah.
So I looked up I looked at the list of authors, and I contacted all of them, all the ones that had their emails or Facebook accounts available online, I looked them up and invited them to a Facebook group for those authors. And the main reason was because I wanted to make friends. I didn't want to go to Miami and be all alone, and
Right.
and everything would be awkward. And who are you and what do you do? So I managed to get around 150 people in that group. And at the same time, I was doing a course for entrepreneurs, and it was also a Facebook ads course, so more at the same time. And they said that you have to be building an email list. And at about the 30th Facebook member, the Facebook group member, when I was at number 30, I thought, what am I doing? I shouldn't be inviting them to my Facebook group. I should have them opt in to my list. So I had them first go through an opt-in form so that they would leave me their email, and then they would go into the group. So that's how I started. I got those 150 people easily. And for a while, it wasn't many more. It was just 150, 151, 152. And that group was really great. For about 2 months, we exchanged a lot of tips because the finalists were announced on June or July 1st. And then the winners were announced in September, and then in November was the event.
Yeah.
So that gave us a lot of time to bond. And when we went to Miami, a lot of people recognized one another from the Facebook group. So that was really great.
Yeah.
And then I met the organizer, and he said, "Oh, so that's you. Everybody's talking about you. People are saying that this is a reunion for them. Seems like a reunion because they already know each other."
Yeah.
So he invited me to move that Facebook group to their website, to the reader's favorite website, and create a forum. So now that group moved, and we've got a forum.
Very nice.
Yeah, but
so you started with community. You built a little community, and then it's grown since then, huh?
Yeah, and I'm no longer in the hundreds. Now I'm in the thousands.
Yeah, that's good.
So I can talk a little bit about list building if there's authors interested.
There's always interest in list building. I still have a huge interest in list building. So yes, absolutely. I think a lot of people would like to hear how you managed to do that.
Okay, well, so various avenues. So the first thing I did was, I had this list of people, so I would contact them one by one and ask them if they wanted to belong to this group. And probably 1/3 of the people answered. I don't know. Okay, but this was highly targeted. This was an award-winning group for award-winning authors for that event. And I'm still close to those people. I've met some of them in Miami. So this was, very time-consuming job. And right now I'm not doing it myself anymore. But I did hire a virtual assistant last week.
Oh, good.
So this is new. And she's helping me manage one of my businesses, which is called Library Bub. I can talk about it in a little bit.
Sure.
So she's contacting award-winning authors because the service is for award-winning authors and best-selling authors. Okay, I'll already tell you what it is. We connect indie authors with libraries.
Okay.
So I have 10,000 libraries, and every week I send them a list of 3 award-winning or best-selling books. So that's on librarybub.com. You can check it out. So in order to, have a market, she's basically looking at websites where there are some award-winning authors listed, and she looks for their emails or Facebook accounts and contacts them, telling them about the service.
Hey.
And she invites them to participate in a giveaway where the service is for free.
Okay.
So there will be 2 winners. And that's working out really well. When I calculated the cost, it's costing me per subscriber as much as a well-performing Facebook ad would.
Right.
And I don't think I would be able to contact award-winning authors via Facebook ads. I don't think because these are really specific people,
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could. There's probably a way to target that down, but that's pretty time-consuming. And what's the payoff, really?
I would have to test that. I haven't yet, but she's really good at that. So you can, if you have so if you're an author and you have a book, let's say it's a mystery, you could go and check out, for example, Amazon reviewers who favorably reviewed some other mystery books.
Yeah.
You can go check out those reviewer profiles. Some of them have emails, and you could contact them, preferably saying that you're holding a giveaway for your book, and sign up here, and maybe you'll win a free book. So this way you get the email addresses, and it's it's an easy exchange. So they probably wouldn't mind giving away their email for a book or for a bunch of books if you have a series.
Right. So now you're saying you go on, how do you do that? How do you find that on Amazon?
Well, you go check out first, see which books have a lot of reviews. So I don't know. What genre do you write in? I'm a children's author. So I go and see my books page, and then there are categories. So which category does your book belong to? So let's say I click on that category. Let's say it's children's travel, and I see what other books are in that category. And when I see one that has a lot of reviews, I click on that one. Then I click on just the 5-star reviews, and every person who writes a review, they have a name. Some of them just are listed as Amazon customer or whatever they write. You click there, and some of the reviewers leave their email or their website. You can go contact them.
Okay. That's pretty straightforward, and you've had a lot of success. You've had a lot of success with that.
I did that for book launches. So when I had a book launch, didn't I contact you this way?
You may have, I believe so. I think that's how we
Because I was
connected.
looking for your emails just before our show, and I think that's how we first met. That I asked you to review my just released book.
Yes, I think that's it.
because you reviewed a similar book. It's a book for authors, because that's my only book for authors. It's called How I Sold 80,000 Books. It's free on Amazon.
Right.
And while I was getting ready for the book launch, I was doing exactly that. I was checking out books for authors, reviewers who favorably reviewed other books, and until I delivered my baby, because I was very pregnant when I was doing that. So until I delivered my baby, I was doing pretty much that.
Oh, okay. All right.
And see, so that can have some really good benefits, like our show. That's how we met.
And so that sort of thing is really time consuming. I mean, how do you balance that with actually doing the writing?
It's time consuming, but you can. There are a few tricks that will speed things up.
Okay. Now we're talking. Let's talk tricks.
Because looking for people like that is time consuming. But have you heard of Author Marketing Club?
Yes.
So if you go to Author Marketing Club, and they have a premium membership option there. If you're part of that membership, they have a tool that scans Amazon reviewers and gives you a list of Amazon reviewers who have emails or websites.
Okay.
So they provide you a whole list. So basically you input there a book similar to yours, because that's what you're looking for, or similar books, and they will scan Amazon and give you a list of, I think I got 100 emails like that, if not 200.
Yeah.
And then, either you have to do it yourself, and that's time consuming, but you pretty much just write an email, you already prepare a text, you copy paste it. So, copy paste 50 emails, how long is it going to take you? Half an hour?
Right.
If you don't want to do it, try to hire a VA, because which I really recommend. I've had my VA for less than a week, because she started working for me on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And it's Tuesday. Yeah, so a week. And I'm really happy, and I wish I had done that much, much earlier.
It's so hard. I have people. I don't have a VA, but I have people that I turn to for help. I have contractors that I use regularly, and it's difficult enough to hand off projects to work on. I don't know how I'll do the more personal stuff, or what feels more personal. I mean, how do you manage that? Like, how do you handle having a VA? I mean, I know you're new at it.
You have the micromanagement syndrome.
Okay, yeah.
Well, I guess you start with some really easy tasks. So something that is difficult to screw up. Okay, so I'm not giving my VA access to my Get Response account. You know, like Get Response is where I send my emails from.
Right.
So I don't give her access to that where she can, I don't know, delete all my subscribers or send some stupid messages
Yeah.
on my behalf. I haven't given her access to my Facebook account where she could run some weird ads and spend my money.
Yeah.
But you know, maybe sometime in the future, I will give her access.
Once you build that trust.
Yes, but not yet. So
Yeah.
her first assignment was to contact people and send them a link to the giveaway.
Okay.
And I set up her email account because I set up her an email account with at LibraryBub so that she has a professional email account. And I have her emails that she receives are forwarded to me.
Okay.
So I don't look at what she sends out, but I do see what she receives. So I saw that somebody said the link is broken. So there was how is it possible? You know, first task he sends out a broken link. And I checked it. I sent her the right one. So it somehow, something happened when she copy-pasted. It didn't work. So I told her, you have to check the links. And I have to contact those people all over again and tell them that, that was the wrong link. So it started a little bit, there was a little bit of tension in the air. But, she was very responsive, very fast, and really enthusiastic about the work. So right now I'm really, really happy.
Yeah. So, okay, how did you find your VA?
I went to Online Jobs PH.
Oh, okay.
So it's all people from the Philippines.
Yeah.
And they can do all types of tasks. There's not only virtual assistants. There are other people who can do work for you. Anything that's doable online.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I liked her. You can look for specific tasks. So for me, it was important that the VA can search the internet and be fast with that stuff.
Right.
So there are a lot of skills, and you can list how proficient the person has to be, and the person auto rates themselves. So they sort of show you how good they are at the specific skills, and there are like 100 skills maybe. So they can't be good at everything. It would be weird.
Right.
And then you can also choose by salary because they list how much they want. So you can sort them this way and see if you want to pay less or more.
Okay.
And they start, I don't know if people are aware of this. I wasn't aware of this. They start for a 40-hour work week per month. The rate starts at 8,000 Filipino pesos, which at the moment is $171.
No, that's not bad.
And if you get this person for half time, not full time, then it's like $85 a month.
Oh wow! And
they
that
work
would be 20 hours a week.
20, and they would work 20 hours a week.
Huh.
This is the lowest rate, okay?
Yeah.
But think about it. For $80, you could have somebody doing a lot of stuff for you, things that are not very complicated but time consuming.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Then the hard work, I think, up front, and this is where I probably get myself into some trouble, but sort of figuring out the processes and making sure that I have something I can hand off that doesn't that's easy for them to follow, but doesn't require me to be hands-on in order for it to happen. I think that would be difficult. How are you handling that sort of thing? I was sure that there would be some kind of learning curve for that person. That's why I didn't do it before delivering my son, which was 4 months ago. Because that's why I published that book, How I Sold 80,000 Books. Because I was actively looking for authors in various ways, and I will continue talking about it. But one of the ways is to have a perma-free book. And inside the book, you would have a reader magnet saying, go get another free book or another free resource and give a link. Yeah.
And to get that resource, they would have to go through an opt-in page and leave their address.
Mm-hmm.
And then via an autoresponder, they would receive their book or whatever they signed up for. So this is a pretty standard practice, but still many authors don't do it.
Yeah.
And they could.
Yeah.
So I did that because I wanted to have, some processes automated automized. What? So, while I was in hospital giving birth, or then, not sleeping at night and changing diapers, at the same time, some authors were subscribing to my list, and I didn't have to do anything.
That's always nice when things
Yes,
happen while you sleep.
Yeah, these are not maybe huge numbers, but, a couple of people per day for sure get on my list for free.
That's great. I mean, that's the goal, right? So that's your author list. How do
I
you
do
build?
the same thing for the reader list.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, how?
Yes.
How do you do? Like, how are you attracting people to your reader list?
Exactly the same way. Actually,
Okay.
my reader list was first. I have a series of books, and I made one of my books permanently free.
Mm-hmm.
And inside, at the beginning and at the end, I have a call to action saying, go get this other book, which is part of the series, for free at my website.
Right.
And they're directed to a squeeze page and leave their email and get the book. And they're also signed up to a sequence of autoresponders to sort of build some kind of relationship.
Right. Okay. So you have a free book that's on Amazon and I presume other sites, or do you focus? Are you Amazon exclusive, or do you go to other sites?
I was, but now I'm expanding.
Okay. I want to ask
I
you
have
about
a lot
that.
of books, so I'm doing it a little bit, slowly.
Okay.
But so you'll see some of my books are only on Amazon,
Yeah.
and others are on all of the retailers. But that's the goal. I want
Okay.
to be everywhere. Yeah.
I want to come back to that. Okay, so you've got one free book that's available. People read that book and they get a CTA to go get a second free book, and then that leads them in. That gets them on the list. So then you're pitching to them to buy.
Yeah, and then they get I think 7 or 8 autoresponders where I chat. I talk to them about how I wrote these books, and if they like this, then they might like my book and the awards they've received. So there's a little bit of fun stuff and a little bit of sales in those emails.
Okay, all right, that's cool. All right, so let's go back. And now my brain just skipped a beat, and I can't remember what it was I said I wanted to come back to. What were we just talking
You wanted
about?
to come back to Amazon exclusivity.
Yes, exclusivity. Yes, thank you. Okay, so because this is a question that comes up a lot. It comes up on my other show, Self Publishing Answers podcast, and in groups that I'm in. And there's a kind of a debate going on about whether or not it's good to stay in that walled garden for Kindle or branch out. And I'm curious what your opinion is.
Am I supposed to solve the debate?
Well, maybe not solve, but at least lend some fuel to it, maybe.
I also listen to all kinds of podcasts and read those articles, and I'm in the groups. So what I can tell from my experience and from what I see other authors experience is that when you have just one book, then it's a good idea to go exclusive on Amazon because you have those free days and the countdown deals.
Right.
So you can use that to promote your book. So you have a 5-day, I think it's 5-day free day, five free days. And then you can promote that on other sites. There are plenty of sites where you can promote a free book.
Right.
So ideally you would get a lot of downloads for free, and then everybody talks about manually switching that promo earlier. So about, I think, 12 hours than default. I think the default is 3 a.m. It's at Western time, I believe.
Sure.
That the promo would finish, so you would do it at 3 p.m. So then your book would still show up at the top of the lists, but it would maybe already, it will already have its full price. So people would find it, and some of the people would buy it.
Right.
So this is one of those tips that I learned in these really expensive courses. I'm a course junkie. When I see a new course, I have to buy it.
Okay.
But this tip has been, published several times as a secret tip. So you can use
out.
it. Secrets out. Yeah.
I've never been successful doing those sorts of things, and I don't know why. I think I don't know. Maybe I don't pay enough attention to it. I guess I'm not doing all the work. So maybe I need to get a VA.
It's you have to pay attention.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I'm switching So I no longer want to be Amazon exclusive because I have like over a dozen of books, and I could no longer track when I can do the free days for this, the free days for that. So imagine 12 books or more. So basically, you have these free days. You can do it once every 3 months, right?
Yeah.
So for 12 books, that will be twice a month. I don't know if I'm doing the math right. My brain is exploding.
Whatever.
Anyway,
We'll
you
go
would
with
be
it.
doing.
There's a
You
reason
would,
this isn't the Math Slinger show,
oh yeah,
okay?
good. I'm sure there are people laughing at me for my math right now. Okay, so anyway, there's a lot of work. And when you have a free book, you can't just leave it free. You have to promote it. And there are like 100 websites. What's it called? BookBub being the most important one. There are 100 websites where you can promote your free book. Some for free, and for some you have to pay. And it's really time consuming, and it's a daunting task to go and input your book details on 100 websites. That's also something FEA could do,
Right.
and I think it will be one of her future tasks to do that for one of my books. But not because of the free Kindle KDP Select days.
Right.
So now, since I don't want to, think about all of this, I prefer to have my books everywhere.
Okay.
And because I think that I can get more sales also on, Apple iBooks and Kobo.
Yeah.
I'm still in the process of expanding, so I don't have any data that would be
Yeah.
statistically significant.
How are you going direct to those markets, or are you actually using one of the aggregators like Drafted Digital?
I'm going direct with because children's books are specific.
Yeah.
I don't know if there are a lot of children's authors, but I'll just be really quick explaining this. When you do a children's book, the illustrations can either be in, I think, flowing layout or fixed layout. And
Okay.
in the flowing layout, they basically look like crap. And in the fixed layout, they look really pretty like a printed book.
Okay.
But only a few retailers let you upload in the fixed layout. And that's Amazon, iBooks, and Kobo for now,
Okay.
and Google Books.
Interesting.
So I only upload there because I want my books to look good.
Right.
That's for the picture books, and for the like my book for authors, and I upload to the big sites by myself to those mentioned,
Yeah.
and then I upload to Smashwords and select all the channels except for the big ones.
Okay. All right. So, but on Smashwords, then it's in the flowing layout.
No, there are no pictures because that's for my book for
Oh,
authors.
that's your author books. Okay. All right. Sorry, I missed that part. Okay. All right. Yeah. So I stopped using Smashwords for some reason. Probably need to get back to it, but I've been using Draft Digital, and I like how that works. So okay.
Is it better?
Yes. I was going to kind of work around that, but no, it's better. And it's better because here's my take on it. And I'm giving them yet another free plug, but they're a group that was started by authors that, they know exactly what we need because they are us. So I have enjoyed working with those guys. So just, if you're interested, go check them out. I interviewed Dan Wood. If you want to listen back, to one of the past episodes. He's with Draft Digital. Great company, great guy too. So yeah, worth checking out. I still
You
like
interviewed a lot of fantastic people.
Oh, thank you, and you're one of them.
Wow, I can't believe that.
Smashwords, I like. They were the first group that I got into for publishing, other than direct to Kindle, to reach the other markets. So I can't, I'm not going to down them, but I didn't like the whole meat grinder. I got to format my book in a special way, and all that stuff was hard. So I think I drifted from them. Do you still
Well,
have to
then
do all that?
I might check them out for my next release.
You should. You should definitely check them out. Okay, thanks, Draft Digital. You can send my check anytime. So, you have your, like a lot of us, I think a lot of indie authors end up doing this, but you have two silos. You have your fiction work and you have your nonfiction work. What are the challenges in going between those two for marketing? I mean, does it double your work, or can you do everything kind of simultaneously? Like, how does it work out?
I think it's a good combination because I always want to have something exciting to tell my authors.
Uh-huh.
So that motivates me to do something with my books.
Okay.
Because every week I send out a newsletter, and I want it to be, like something that people can learn from. So I try things out, I test things, and it motivates me. So sometimes I do something with my books, my children's books, because I want to have material to share with the authors.
Right. That's great. I mean, that's I like that sort of lead by example idea.
You know Joanna Penn, who of
Yeah.
course I can't compare to her because she's huge, but her philosophy is very similar. She also started her list for authors while she was starting with her fiction.
Mm-hmm.
So she now she's big in both fiction and she's big in the author business, but it's a similar philosophy.
Yeah. And that sort of learn as you go. I mean, a lot of groups are like that. The guys from the self-publishing podcast, that's how they built their little empire, and it's kind of how I'm trying to do it. We'll see how it works out. I think I'm a little too lazy sometimes, but I'm trying to help writers as much as I can.
Yeah, you are.
So what are some of the successes then? Have you had people contact you and just thank you profusely for helping them in this business?
Yeah, I get several emails every day.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's because in my autoresponders, I suggest that people write back to me.
Yeah.
So they do. And most of these emails are from authors rather than from readers, because they don't really say, readers don't say, your book changed my child's life.
Right.
It is a fiction book, but I do get some really nice reviews from them saying that your books are my kids' favorite books. I have to read them 5 times before they go to bed, and that's really great. That's why I do this.
Right.
It's great to get these type of reviews or emails, but these are not the majority of emails I get from. Most of the emails come from authors, and it's because when you get on my list, you will get an autoresponder asking you a question, and authors reply to that question. So that's how we start a dialogue, because I always reply to people who write to me.
Right. You know what? I think that's standard practice for anybody who's actually, successful in this, is that they reply to everybody who writes to them, which I know is also time consuming, but
Yeah, it is.
that's not something I would feel comfortable handing off to a VA though. Like I know that
No.
maybe you get to that level at some
Well, but
point.
I think people want to talk to the author, not with their VA.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So okay, so you do both. If you had to choose between one or the other, which would you choose, nonfiction or fiction? Like which one's the favorite child?
I think I really like to help authors, and I really
Really?
like that.
Yeah.
I really like it. I really like preparing the newsletters. I like writing the books. I like talking to authors. I like being on shows like this.
Yeah.
I like coaching, and I like to interact with people who do the same thing as I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fun. I really enjoy that.
Yeah, it's an extension of that whole community thing that you built earlier.
Yes, it is. It is.
So you how many new authors are you picking up, on a regular basis? Do a lot of people kind of come in? And how are they finding you? Exactly.
Well, I basically have about 50 new subscribers a day.
Nice, very nice.
And so let's talk, because our big topic is the various avenues where you can get your subscribers, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so right now I'm having quite a bit of success with Facebook ads.
Okay.
So I started with Facebook ads a year and a half ago. So I gave Facebook a lot of my money while I was testing the ads, and I didn't have success, from day one, and when I started testing the ads.
Right.
But now, for this particular purpose of finding new authors, I am having, very good results. I learned to write copy because I took another course on copywriting.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned to write, good copy. And I took a few courses on Facebook ads, so I learned what type of images you need to use. And I learned how to target, because that's important. And then there are really maybe some sci-fi tools for people who haven't heard of it, but you can do things like create a lookalike audience.
Yeah.
So if you have an audience already, and a good audience to do is 1,000 people, well, you can do it with less. I think they say you can do it with 100, but to get good results, it would be with 1,000. You upload your custom audience, and then you create a lookalike audience. So basically, Facebook looks for people who are similar to those people who you already have.
Okay.
So I use these lookalike audiences a lot. And so I use a lookalike audience, and within that lookalike audience, I target one interest.
Right.
I always target one interest. I create several ads, the same ads, targeting different interests, and then I see which one performs best.
Okay.
So then I kill all the losers and I scale the winners, as they say.
Yeah.
So I did a little bit of testing for these ads, and now I have, my favorite copy with my favorite image, and I'm getting pretty good results getting authors on my list. So Facebook ads, if you learn how to do them, and the best way to learn is to do a course, is to take a course, because
Yeah.
it's difficult to learn just by yourself or with some scraps on the internet. Maybe somebody wrote a blog post. Just if you take a course, then all the money that you spend on the course, you won't have to lose on ads.
Right. Yeah. And there are some courses. There's some good courses out there. I just interviewed Mark Dawson, who does
Exactly.
fantastic. Is that the course you took? Is that the one you?
This is one of the courses I took. Yes.
Okay.
This is the only one I took.
You really
for
are a
authors.
course junkie. I need to develop a course. I can make some money off of you.
Yeah. I took a course last year, which was created by, hold on, Donald Wilson.
Okay.
And he's a huge entrepreneur, but it was for entrepreneurs, not for authors.
Okay.
And I learned my Facebook ads there. And now I did Mark Dawson's course, and I'm actually cooperating with him on the new
Yes.
release, which is happening on October 23rd.
Yes, I am also cooperating with him. So, Mark Dawson all around, everybody. He's actually, we're going to be including, because my partner and I created author.email, which is an email service aimed specifically at authors. So we're talking to him about how to include that as part of his, part of the overhaul of the course, basically. So that's going to be interesting.
What is author email?
So author email it's like MailChimp or Aweber, but it's specific for authors. And
you created that?
yes, we did. Yeah.
Wow, that's
it's in
incredible.
public beta right now. So yeah, it's on the whole, I like it a lot better than I was using MailChimp for years, and then we used Aweber when he and I started partnering together, and I always found them both to be kind of complicated and clunky and difficult to get around. So we created something that would be a little easier and that was cheaper because
And is it already operational?
It is, yeah. We're in a public beta basically right now, and we're going to roll it out full, but we're getting all the bugs out, and there aren't really any bugs. There's really just sort of refining language and that sort of thing. So
That's amazing. I have to check it out.
Yeah, definitely check it
Because
out.
I've been through a lot of email providers. I've been through mail. My first was Aweber
Yeah,
for a very short time because I didn't like it. Then I moved to MailChimp.
yeah.
Then I moved to GetResponse, and now I'm with GetResponse. I really like them.
Okay.
And now I checked out something like InTouch Media because they were much, much cheaper than GetResponse.
Okay.
But I just a few hours ago, I sent them an email that I no longer want to subscribe to their service because it's just impossible to create a newsletter or anything. It's just so, I don't know, so 90s. The software is so difficult,
Right.
so user unfriendly.
Right.
And if you
That's the problem we had too.
and I have a lot of contacts.
Well,
I have a lot of
okay, I
contacts.
don't want to turn this whole thing into a commercial for author.email, but
That's why you just repeated the URL.
but I mean, we have our program is you can pay for up to 1,000 subscribers, you pay nothing, and then up to 10,000 subscribers, you pay $10 a month, and then up to 20,000, you pay $20 a month. So
Wow.
those are pretty good numbers, I think.
What
I mean,
about 200,000?
we're going to work on that. It's like we're still scaling up because we don't know how many people are going to come in with lists like that. So that's one of the things we're kind of working out right now. We basically just put 3 rates and 3 packages up because we knew that's around where we are. So we're gonna work on that. But if you're interested,
You can make some money off of me through authoremail.com.
okay, all right. Well, let's we'll table that. We'll talk about that later. Okay, so I feel bad now because I feel like I just co-opted the interview to make it a commercial for one of my projects.
Well, that's because I was interested, and I think every author is interested. Every author has to build an email list.
That's true, and that's
And
the
then you're
number
going
one.
to look for somewhere where you can do it cheap and where it's not difficult to create a newsletter, create an autoresponder, and so on.
Right. Yeah. And one of the frustrations that we had with MailChimp, for example, was you can't do autoresponders until you get into their paid, whatever it is.
Sure.
And we offer autoresponders and drip campaigns like instantly. You can do that with the free package. So that was one of the kind of stipulations we had. So we'll talk about it. And I've been mentioning it on the show. I've been avoiding doing like a full announcement mostly because
You can blame it on me now.
yeah. Well, I didn't want to get everyone rushing to it while we were still kind of finessing it, but I don't care. Whatever. Come check us out, everybody. So, back to your work though. I mean, do you have like courses and programs that you offer?
Yes, I have a few courses.
Okay.
Mainly my courses are about getting reviews.
Okay.
So
Which
I have
is important. That's as big as mailing lists, really.
So I have one course which talks about getting reviews via Goodreads. That's how to use Goodreads to get reviews.
Okay.
And it's not about posting a giveaway and hoping you'll get reviews. It's something totally different.
Okay.
And another one is called 100 Reviews Book Launch. So how to launch a book with 100 reviews.
Okay.
And they're
Wow.
sort of interconnected. I mean, they are standalone courses, but it's really powerful if you do both.
Okay.
And then I have a professional self-publishing course. So that's a course for people who have never self-published.
Right.
And it basically talks about how to optimize your book for online sales and where to go and how to go about the whole self-publishing business, where to get an editor, how to choose your keywords, how to set everything up. So I have these 3 main courses, and they're really inexpensive because they're between $10 and $20.
Oh, okay.
So it's nothing like those mega huge courses that some people have, like the super awesome Facebook course of Mark Dawson. So I also promote other people's courses if I think that they are good.
Yeah. Yeah, I've noticed that. I see a lot. In fact, I think the majority of emails I get from you are, you're talking up a course or a book or something that's useful to authors. So you've been a great source of material for me.
Thank you. Well, now I have something new, so now it's time for my... can I have my own commercial now?
Yeah, sure. You pitch whatever you like. Go ahead.
Now I have a new service, but it's only for best-selling and award-winning authors.
Okay.
And it's called Library Bub. So basically what we do is we promote those great indie authors to around 10,000 libraries in the U.S.
Okay.
And as far as I'm aware, it's the first such service in the industry. There's never been one like this for indies.
Right.
So this is going really well because we started mailing at the beginning of September. And now we're at the beginning of October, and I'm booked 3 weeks forward. So
Okay.
that's a pretty great service for authors. And then, we check the results, and the libraries do buy those books. So it's pretty cool. If you're an indie author or a small press author and have a best-selling or award-winning book, check out librarybub.com.
Okay. All right. That'll be in the show notes. Everybody can check that out. Now, you're saying best-selling, only best-selling authors.
Or award-winning.
Or award-winning. And how do they qualify that? Like, what qualifies you as a best-selling or award-winning?
Well, as a best-selling, for me, you don't have to be a New York Times best-selling author. Be an Amazon best-selling author in your category.
Okay.
So, it could even happen via, a BookBub ad.
Right.
If you have some screenshots that you can demonstrate that you're a best-selling author via screenshots, then for me, that's good enough.
Okay.
It's always great to have multiple reviews. That really helps.
Yeah.
And award-winning is pretty obvious. You have an award.
So I was recently a best-selling author on iBooks, so that would qualify me then, right?
Yeah, that would qualify you,
Okay.
but I will still go and check out your book to see if it's not crap.
Good deal. All right. I accept your terms. Okay, cool. Yeah. So other than, so what are the big advantages for the author to get into that program?
Well, they get exposed to around 10,000 libraries receive the email.
Okay.
Several thousand open the email and check out the books. And then several hundred, up to 1,000, click on the links, on the Amazon links.
Okay.
And some will order from Amazon, but most of them order from Baker and Taylor or Ingram or Ingram.
Okay.
So it's important to have your book in those catalogs. But if you don't, many libraries order from Amazon. So you get a huge exposure. That's thousands of libraries, and then those libraries do order. So that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
I'm really happy about this service.
So how do you make a profit from the service? Do you charge them? Is it kind of like BookBub? Like you charge them for the promotion?
Yes.
Okay. You hesitated. Now, why is that?
No,
There's
because
nothing
it
wrong with
seems
making a
like
profit.
you wanted it. No, we don't have a free option.
Okay.
Because it takes time to check out the books, to set it up, and
No, that's
a lot of
understandable, yeah.
libraries. We have to pay the email provider fee,
Right.
and we still want to produce really pretty newsletters, so we can't do it for a crappy service.
You don't have to apologize for wanting to make a profit on your service. It's fine. We understand. I mean, that's the whole point. But also from the author's side, I mean, from my side as an entrepreneur, I know that I get more value for something like that. BookBub charges because they offer value, so I'm fine with paying BookBub for an ad if I can ever swing one. Which BookBub for some reason doesn't think I exist. So, but that's great.
Try.
Yeah, it's a numbers game. You come back over and over and over, and you'll eventually nail one. I know that. My Nick does that. Like, it seems like every month he's got a BookBub ad, and I think he just plays the numbers. So that's the secret, I think. Okay, great. That's fantastic, and I like that idea. Now, what makes that different than getting into like Overdrive or something?
It's completely different because it advertises your book to libraries.
Okay.
Okay, so it's just to libraries, and it's for indie books. Librarians have no idea about indie books. They don't go and don't actively look for them.
Right.
And indie books don't appear in those journals that the traditional books appear.
Right.
And it's not because we did a little research and a little bit of interviews with libraries for this. So it's not because librarians are not interested in indie work. They are. It's because they don't have time to and resources to have one librarian go through all the different indie books and decide which ones are good for the library and which are not.
Okay.
So actually what we do for the libraries, we save them a lot of time because we already pick the best books, and sort of by default to get featured, your book has to be best-selling or award-winning. So there has to be some kind of social proof that your book is good enough.
Right. You got to prove yourself.
And for authors, try and contact 10,000 libraries by yourself. It's going to take you 6 months.
Right. Yes, that's true. Contacting even just one library is going to take you quite a bit of time, apparently. Because the first time I managed to get any of my books into a library, it was like an act of Congress. So, Well, that's cool. So you've got a lot of cool things going on. You've got a lot of programs, and you mentioned before our call. You said that you had and you gave me a link, which I will put in the show notes. But you have a gift for authors.
I have a gift for authors, but before I tell you about it, I would like to finish the email avenues.
Oh, sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I'll be really fast now without all the blah, blah, blah. So go to noisetrade.com.
Okay.
And
North Trade?
Noise
Trade. Oh, Noise Trade. Yes, I know Noise Trade. I've promoted that on this show.
Yeah, so you can go there, and basically how it works is that people download your book in exchange for an email.
Mm-hmm.
So you can then upload them to your list. So that's one link. And another one is Story Cartel.
Okay.
So it works just like Noise Trade. The main focus is to get reviews. So people would download your book in order to give you a review.
Okay.
And probably, 30% of those who download will review your book. But you get the emails, so that's pretty great.
Okay.
And I think that's all for as far as those. There's some more sites also, but these I've tried, and so I know that they work.
I want to ask you about Noise Trade because I've had a very good experience with Noise Trade. Okay, they've promoted me several times. I've had quite a few email addresses come in because of that. What I noticed though is that I have a very high unsubscribe rate. Like the instant I start sending those guys email, do you see that with Noise Trade?
Well, I probably had about 350 people sign up, and I think I have 270 left.
Okay. So
I don't know if that corresponds to your numbers.
That's a little lower than what I don't know why that happens, but it seems like I get those guys and I email them, and within the first email or two, I have a big they flee. So I'm not
what
sure.
Are you writing to them? You suck.
All I'm sending is death threats and pornography. So I don't know what their problem is. But I think it's just sometimes it's funny. One of my big frustrations with building the mailing list is little things like that, and also people who report you as spam when all they really want to do is unsubscribe. Those people irritate me. So,
it's just because they don't know how to do it.
They don't know how to do it, right? But still, that doesn't make it any less irritating. So okay. Well, we're up against the wall here, and so I want to go ahead and wrap up. But I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. And you've got so many ideas. I should have you back on the show someday soon, so we can talk about more stuff, because you are in the thick of a lot of things.
It will be a pleasure.
So, if you, listener, would like to check out more about Alinka and her work, you can go to her website. I will put links to everything in the show notes. I've taken notes on everything you've talked about. I've got Noise Trade and Story Cartel and all that in here as well. So, and Author Marketing Club, by the way, is I got their lifetime his lifetime membership or something when he started that. Yeah, it's well worth it. So for anyone listening, that's definitely a tool you should check out. Did you want to say something real quick? I'm sorry.
Yes, now I'd like to give the listeners my gift.
Oh, yes. Oh, jeez. I'm just killing it. Okay, sorry. Yeah, what was your free gift for the listeners?
It's 200 book marketing tips. And if you remember how I told you about these award-winning authors and the Facebook group that we created, I then closed that group and moved it to the forum. But all the great stuff that we exchanged in that group, I put that together in this booklet. So basically, I created it for the award-winning authors, as that's, there's a lot of resources in there. And I use it as my reader magnet. So when you go to this link, you will basically be asked to you will be asked for your email. And then you'll be asked to confirm your subscription. And once you do that, you will get that booklet. And then you'll be also on my list. So you'll get a couple of autoresponders from me. But, they're packed with marketing, and they don't really scream buy my stuff. So you'll get a lot of, there will be a few links that say buy my stuff, but you're not obliged to buy anything. And you get a lot of free resources anyway. So, and you can always unsubscribe.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but don't do that. Don't unsubscribe. Stay on her list forever. All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Alinka. And I'm definitely going to, we're gonna stay in touch because you have a lot to say, and I think my listeners would appreciate all of it. So we're gonna squeeze you for every drop at some point. So
Fantastic.
everyone else listening, stick around for the wrap up of the show. Thanks for tuning in this week. Alinka, thank you so much for being on the show, and we'll talk to everyone next week.
Great. Thank you, Kevin.
So that was my interview with Alinka Rutkowska, and you've noticed I've practiced the name a few times. I now get it right, generally right. I have to really work on that. And the thing is, a lot of times, and this happens frequently, I talk to people on the show, and we sit down and do the interview, and I realize almost last second that I've only ever talked to these people. Either we've exchanged emails, or we've been in Slack, or we've been on Facebook, or something like that. And so I've only ever seen their name in writing. Or if I have spoken to them, the only thing we've ever said to each other, the only way we ever referred to each other is by our first names. So I get last names wrong. Sorry, just do that. At any rate, I just we're at time, so I don't want to take too much time, and there's not really a lot left to say. But I did want to just kind of once again remind you, if you are listening to the show and enjoying the show, I'd really appreciate it if you'd go and rank me and rate me on iTunes. It helps a lot. It does a lot for me, but it does a lot for other people as well. It's a lot easier for people to connect with the show and learn something from it. And I really do sincerely hope that you are learning something from the show. I mean, that's the whole point of this. I want you to get something out of it. And it's about the story. Okay. I mean, honestly, I consider myself a storyteller first. Writing is just one of the tools that I use to do that. And this is another tool. So I hope you're getting something out of that, something that you can use in your daily life. At any rate. So take care of yourself. If you've got questions, I'd love to hear them. If you can visit me at wordslingerpodcast.com, you'll be able to leave me an email. There's also a button there so that you can leave me a voicemail via SpeakPipe. But you can call me, good old-fashioned telephone, 281-809-WORD. That's 281-809-9673, where you can leave me a voicemail. You can give me some feedback on the show, ask me a question, send a question to a former guest, anything you want. So I'd love to hear from you. I never hear from you. You guys never call. Which makes me think that by the time this message comes around, you've already tuned out. You came for the interview. I understand. You're going to wipe the popcorn off your lap and go home. I get it. So take care of yourselves out there. I hope you have a good one. We got more great interviews coming up. I got a stack of them, man. We got you covered through the rest of the year and into 2016 for a bit there. And you're not going to want to miss a single one of these. So take care of yourselves. If I don't happen to speak to you before Christmas, I hope you have a very happy, safe, and Merry Christmas. Enjoy your holiday. If you happen to be of another cultural persuasion and you celebrate Hanukkah or one of the other the many things that happen around this time of year, I hope you'll have a safe time, a good time with family. I hope you'll be surrounded by love. You definitely have my love, and I will talk to you soon.
Word Slinger.